The chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission task force, I guess, that's putting this together, the Honorable Shashi Kiran, to the assistant ministers and ministers who are present here today. I see some distinguished members of our society here. Welcome to you all, members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen. Nisamolunaka, namaste, and a very good morning to you all. To begin, I also wish to acknowledge the owners of the land on which we gather, Turana Tisuba, It is an honor to be here today and be occupying the land on which we stand. Ladies and gentlemen, it was only September last year that Fiji's parliament, in a historic decision, passed the motion to establish the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Fiji. The government member that moved that motion is now the chair of the steering committee of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I wish to congratulate the Honorable Shashi Kiran for the passion and drive she brings to this very important work, which is additional work to her as the Assistant Minister for Women, Children and Social Protection, as well as being Deputy Chairperson for the Parliament's Standing Committee on Economic Affairs and Standing Committee of Social Affairs. I also like to commend the sterling work and support of your colleagues, Assistant Minister Garagara Tambua, Honorable Sakis Tumbuna, Honorable Bodea, and Honorable Tuwege. Nagawagalebu for supporting this vitally important work of restoration and reconciliation, cleansing, healing, and forgiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe Fiji is quite fortunate that to guide us along this path of truth-telling and genuine reconciliation, we have the expertise of Mr. Ruben Karanja, an international transitional justice expert with the New York City-based International Center for Transitional Justice, or ICTJ, among the many countries that have benefited from his expertise includes South Africa and, closer to home, the Solomon Islands. Fiji has so much to learn from these two countries when it comes to the painful but necessary process of truth and reconciliation. Out of the many words of wisdom attributed to one of the world's most famous freedom fighters, South Africa's very own Nelson Mandela, I find this particularly one prophetic when he said, and I quote, "True reconciliation does not consist in merely forgetting the past, but in facing up to it and coming to terms with it," unquote. This is exactly why the coalition government, your government, has embarked on this road of seeking closure on a traumatic and painful past. As Nelson Mandela said, Fiji will not have true reconciliation if we do not face up to our past and come to terms with it. Ladies and gentlemen, our wanderers in Solomon Islands have taught us a lot as well about the process of truth and reconciliation. One of these is that genuine peace and unity cannot be achieved with a one-size-fits-all approach. In this, I would like to pay special tribute to a true son of Fiji, a Parliament chief, High Court judge, and a former vice president, the late Turana Rotimau Ratuchoni Mondrawiwi. Ratuchoni was one of two international commissioners in the Solomon Islands Truth and Reconciliation Commission of 2009 to 2011. This is one time we would have benefited immeasurably from his wisdom and foresight. Someone recently drew my attention to a quote of Ratachoni, which he made at an international meeting on human rights in Suva in July 2006, which I thought was very relevant as we embark on this journey of finding closure from our troubled past. In his address, the Bao chief quoted and said, "If these consultations are to be more than a talk fest and recitation of platitudes, as appears common in the international fora, participants must be ready to engage each other on difficult issues. None of us has a monopoly on virtue or the high moral ground," unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to consult about the legal framework we need for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So allow me to just make a couple more points before I resume my seat. As we begin our public consultations this week, our Prime Minister, the Honorable Civic was also this week talking to our leaders in the Pacific about his vision for an ocean of peace. I do not think this was a coincidence at all, but a sign that the forces are with us, that we are not walking alone on this journey to seek peace and content. You see, last September, when the Honorable Prime Minister stood up and to speak in support of Honorable Kiran's motion for the establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Fiji, the Honorable Pramuka spoke about the India-Pacific Summit that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosted with Papua New Guinea in May of 2023. Our Prime Minister made reference in that summit his vision for an ocean of peace. Just 16 months later, the Pacific Islands Forum is on the verge of adopting the Prime Minister's Ocean of Peace concept, and Fiji has begun public consultations on the formation of its own Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Today marks an important milestone in our shared journey toward healing, justice, and peace. It goes without saying that the destination for this journey is long-term peace, multicultural harmony, prosperity, and perhaps unity for our country. For many, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission might evoke thoughts of justice, reconciliation, and the quest for truth. What often gets overlooked is that we can achieve for our beloved nation in this process. This process is traditionally intertwined with our pursuit of healing, understanding, and often emerging in the wake of conflict or injustice. But today, I invite us all, or challenge us all, that the TRC is not just an acronym, but is a dynamic process, one that shapes our collective journey towards sustainable peace, harmony, and which leads to a more stable, prosperous, and thriving Fiji. Ladies and gentlemen, from the very beginning, your coalition government has been advocating for this Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It is a ray of hope, a place where truth and reconciliation will be found or sought, with the goal of creating a future that is equitable, peaceful, and prosperous. Facing the facts of our past, no matter how unpleasant or painful, is an undeniable truth. Seeking the truth calls for bravery, integrity, and openness. It means listening to the voices of the oppressed, marginalized, and silent. Truth is the foundation upon which reconciliation is built. Without a clear understanding of our past, we cannot hope to build our future. The truth-telling process is not about assigning blame or perpetuating division. It is about acknowledging the wrongs that have been committed and providing a space for those who have suffered, and for them to be heard and validated. It is about sharing the lessons of the past so that they are not forgotten and that we do not repeat the same mistakes of history. This way, we can truly build stability and, I dare say, genuine democracy. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission can be a powerful tool for addressing the legacies of the past. It provides a structured framework for truth-telling, healing, and reconciliation, as I mentioned. Through public hearings, investigations, and reports, the TRC will shine a light on the dark chapters of our history, bringing to the forefront the voices of those who have suffered. The work of the TRC will not be easy, and will often be met with resistance from those who fear the truth or wish to maintain the status quo. This requires the support and cooperation of all sectors of society, including government, civil society, and the general public. As we embark on this workshop, let us reflect on the lessons learned from other TRCs or Truth and Reconciliation Commissions around the world. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa has demonstrated the transformative power of truth and reconciliation. They have shown us that even in the aftermath of some of the most egregious atrocities, it is possible to heal, to rebuild, and to move forward and build a strong nation at the back of its citizens living in a free and safe society without fear. However, we must also recognize that the success of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is not guaranteed. It depends on the commitment of all stakeholders to engage in a process with honesty, openness, and a willingness to change. It requires the Commission to be independent, impartial, free from political interference, and most importantly, it requires genuine commitment to justice, human rights, and progress. Ladies and gentlemen, let us work together to ensure that our Truth and Reconciliation Commission is not just a symbolic gesture, but a meaningful step towards justice, healing, and peace. The Truth and Reconciliation is not just about addressing our past. It is about addressing our future. So why are we doing this? My personal view is this, that for Fiji to move ahead, we need to address the past. In doing so, we will create a future that is bright, where every Fijian is democratically, socially, and economically empowered, or dare I say it again, a united Fiji. I'm reminded by the powerful words of the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. There can be no future unless there is peace, and there can be no peace unless there is reconciliation. In Parliament, I often reflect and pray for King Solomon's wisdom and understanding in that august house. Fiji will also need to be endowed with the said wisdom and understanding in order to rebuild and heal our land. To conclude, I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking advantage of these public forums to express your views on how we can shape this Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Invite your family members, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors to participate. Be part of the change. All our voices count. With those few words, I wish these public consultations the very best, and together, let us work to rebuild Fiji into a truly peaceful and united nation where respect, trust is abound amongst its people, irrespective of race, culture, language, or faith, I think.